Hey everybody, welcome to One Piece Chapter 1016 Analysis and Review. And folks, we've got a different one for you today. So far I've been pretty much nothing but praiseworthy of One Piece, and I hope I'm not giving the impression that I'm nothing more than a One Piece shill. I think One Piece is a flawless, a masterpiece, a master One Piece, if you will. And I don't want to come across as that guy who thinks that the manga is infallible, because it certainly is not, and there has never been a better example of that in recent chapters than Chapter 1016. So if you've ever wanted to hear me criticize One Piece, perhaps more than praise, this will be the review for you. And if you're the type who kind of gets down in the dumps when you hear somebody being a negative Nancy about your favorite manga, don't worry, I've been there myself. Don't worry, I'm not anti-One Piece. I don't read it to hate read it like many people seem to do. I'm not gonna, name names or anything, but some people seem to just read it to hate on it. I'm just thoroughly disappointed by this chapter, and I'm going to do my best to explain why. If you don't want to hear somebody explain why they disliked it, you can skip this one. It will not hurt my feelings. So the way I see One Piece, there are less than 300 chapters left until the end of the story. Oda has said there's probably 5 years left. I think he's full of shit. If I had to guess, One Piece is going to end in the year 2027, because Oda likes to pay attention to numbers. One Piece started in 1997, so 30 years. It's a pretty solid chunk of years for the story to go. Why not have it end after 30 years in 2027? And if the story is going to end in 2026, or whatever he predicted, I could easily see Oda, with all the breaks that he likes to take, I could easily see it going to 2027. And the story will probably be about 1,300 chapters. If you consider how many chapters they release a year, and how many years they say they have left, it looks like it's going to end at about 1,250, or more likely 1,300. Whatever way you want to slice it, there's only a few hundred chapters of the story left, and in my mind, there are potentially 500 chapters worth of story left to tell. I'm fearful that One Piece is actually going to be too short. It's funny because everybody says One Piece is it's way too long. I disagree. I feel like it's not going to be long enough, because there are still so many mysteries, so many plot points, so many characters that need to be resolved. There is so much shit that needs to happen before the end of this story that, in my mind, every single chapter needs to count. Every single chapter needs to be jam-packed with information, or setting up new mysteries, or really just anything. There's no room for anything resembling filler. And for the vast majority of chapters, Oda does not fail. He gives us what we want, what we need. It's just that in this chapter, I feel like maybe some mistakes were made. To start off, most One Piece chapters are 17 pages. That's the average. This chapter was 15 pages. So if the chapter felt shorter than usual, that's because it literally was, and you might not have noticed it, but your brain did. Now, 15 chapters is fine. Sometimes that has to happen for whatever reason, but if you're going to conclude this story in the next 300 some odd chapters, if you have a 15-page chapter, you better cram 17 pages worth of information into it to make it worth it. Otherwise, it's a bit of a lackluster chapter. And unfortunately, I feel like even with 15 pages, there might have been like 6 pages of useful information. My main issue is the resurrection of Ulti, and I don't know if this is going to be an extremely unpopular opinion or not, but I was so incredibly disappointed to see that Ulti is still alive and kicking, because she's already been dealt with. Like, that part of the story, that plot point, defeat Ulti, I feel like that was resolved in a satisfying way. It was the power of a Yonko. Oda gave us Big Mom utilizing all of her homies into an epic combination fucking Godzilla laser attack that shot a laser beam straight through Ulti's body. I assume everybody who read that thought, oh yeah, Ulti's probably fucking down for the count, if not just dead. And to have her not only still alive, but still fast enough, after getting a fucking ace donut hole through her body, she is still fast enough to dodge lightning. She can still dodge lightning. It lessens the impact of previous chapters. It lessens Big Mom's power. Like, this was a Yonko using one of her most powerful attacks to make one of Kaido's Flying Six look like fodder. It made Big Mom look so incredibly powerful and scary, and now we know her ultimate laser beam attack just knocks out Ulti for about 2.5 minutes. So the question is, what was the point of bringing Ulti back just for her to immediately be defeated in about 4 pages? Well, what I like to do is with each scene in a chapter, I like to really analyze what new information we got from it. Because if you have a scene that gives no new information, either about the plot, or the world, or the character development, or anything like that, if a scene doesn't give any new information, then it does come across as filler. So what new information do we get from the whole scene with Nami, Zeus, and Ulti? Well, we learn that Big Mom is not nearly as powerful as suggested by the laser attack. That's some good new information, right? It makes a powerful character seem less powerful and more lame. Okay, great. But really, the focus I think Oda wanted to show was the power of Nami's new weapon. We know that Nami can use her climb attack as a weapon, because we've seen that for hundreds of chapters. We know that Nami can use Zeus as a weapon, because we've seen that for, I think, hundreds of chapters. But what if the climb attack and Zeus were combined? We better dedicate a whole chapter to revealing that Nami can also use that as a weapon. Okay. Does it make me sad on a deep, dark level that in the Onigashima raid we've had 4 chapters dedicated to Zeus, and 0 chapters dedicated to Brook, 0 chapters dedicated to Robin, 0 chapters dedicated to Jinbei? Okay. I guess if Act 3 is supposed to just be setting up all the fights, and then Act 4 will really get into the nitty-gritty of how these fights are going, I guess that could be fine. But if ultimately we get more of Zeus in this arc than we get from other Straw Hats, I'm just gonna be underwhelmed and kind of sad about it. But the information that Oda wants to give us is Nami's new power with Zeus and the climb attack combined is super powerful, and what better way to show that than have it defeat a character who is already at 5% health. Earlier, we saw that Ulti could dodge Nami's attacks, so now we see with this new power-up, now Ulti can dodge it, but then Zeus can just go hit her anyway. So it's showing us, the new information it's giving us is that Nami's attacks can now hone in on the enemy and they're not going to miss. Which is good to know, but you didn't need to bring back Ulti to do it. The mission that Usopp and Nami are on is to transport Tama to the stage so that Tama can command all of the beast pirates who have eaten her Kibidongo so that they can turn the tides of the war. That's the mission, and the way they do it is they find this girl, Bao Huang, I think her name is, some chick, and she has the receiver, and they take the receiver from her so that Tama can use it to talk to the beast pirates. What if, instead of Bao Huang or Bao Huang being basically unguarded, even though she's a weak little girl in the middle of a fucking war zone, what if instead of Ulti coming back, Bao Huang or Bao Huang or whatever is being guarded or protected by a bunch of the gifters, one of those giants we saw before, literally anything. And then Nami can showcase her new power by taking out this enemy guarding Bao Huang, and then Usopp can use his shit to what he did in the chapter and grab Bao Huang, and then Tama can have the receiver. You didn't need to bring back Ulti to showcase that Nami has a new power. You could have used it on... You could have made more sense by having this important Bao Huang character protected by strong people, and then we can see how powerful Nami's Climattact is. Because if I'm being honest, defeating Ulti with Zeus is not that impressive. She just got Godzilla laser cannoned through the chest. Like, yeah, no shit that one lightning attack is gonna take her down. That's not impressive. If this ends up being Nami's only fight of the arc, are you telling me that's not a major disappointment? Because she didn't even fucking do anything. She didn't earn this win. It was Big Mom and Zeus 100%. Nami just swung the fucking thing, and that's it. So if this arc is supposed to showcase all of the Straw Hats struggling like never before and getting into the most intense fights yet, this better not be Nami's fight. And of course, this might all be headcanon, and we're not actually supposed to see all of the Straw Hats struggle in this arc, in which case that's also somewhat disappointing, since Wano, as you know, it's like the end of a big super saga. I would expect to see the full crew tested to the utmost of their abilities, and it seems like Nami is not being tested really at all. She did nothing of her own accord to defeat Ulti. She showed bravery when Ulti was gonna headbutt her. She said, "Oh no, Luffy will be the Pirate King, fuck you." That was phenomenal. That's 10 out of 10 Nami. But in terms of winning the fight, it was Big Mom and Zeus. Ulti should have stayed down, and we could have seen Nami take out, you know, whatever gifter giant fodder is protecting Bao Huang. And I really hope I'm not pronouncing that name wrong, but then again, I pronounced Kinemon wrong, so I guess I don't care. The chapter's only 15 pages, and approximately 11 of them are spent on this Ulti conflict. Something that should have been swept under the rug already. It was already taken care of, and the only new information we got was that Nami's weapon can be used as a weapon. At least the plot point of Tama getting the receiver to talk to the Beast Pirates has finally happened on screen, but that's not really new either. We've known that was going to happen probably for, 30 or 40 chapters now? I guess that's my main issue with the chapters, that it doesn't really introduce anything new. It just shows us things that we already knew were going to happen, or things that we could have easily guessed, like the Climattact Zeus combination can be used as a weapon. I did not need 6 pages to tell me that. And even with Kaido and Yamato, like, they have, 2 or 3 pages, and even that kind of feels like filler. Because they're not really fighting yet. Kaido's in dragon form, and then he switches to hybrid form, and Yamato is still in her base form. At the very least, we could have seen Yamato transform, prove that you're taking this fight against your dad seriously, and let's see your Zone fruit in action. Especially since, 30 chapters ago, I think when she was leaving Frankie, or when she met Frankie, she started to transform and we could see her fangs. Like, she was halfway through transforming into what we assume is like a tiger, or a white tiger or something. If you're willing to do that against the Flying Six members, why would you not immediately transform to fight Kaido? I don't know. And then the new information we get from this thrilling cliffhanger is that Wano is a special place. Oh, really? Could not have guessed that. We all haven't known that Wano is a special place in the lore for, 500 chapters? Since Thriller Bark, it's been heavily suggested that Wano is special. Why else? Do we just think Kaido's been sitting in Wano for over 20 years for no reason? Of course he's there for a reason. That's not a big reveal that Kaido is there because it's special. Give us anything else. Your big teasing hint of mystery should not be something that we've known for years. I hope I'm not sounding too overly negative, but after a 10 out of 10 superstar chapter last week, it is just rough having a chapter where I feel like I could have skipped it and missed nothing. Really, you could have just said, oh yeah, they finally get Tama to the stage floor and she starts talking on the receiver. What else is there to take away from this chapter? I guess the CP0 people are counting the number of people on both sides, but that's pointless too, because they don't have any clue what they're talking about. They have no idea that Tama is one sentence away from flipping thousands of people, I assume, over to the other side. So the numbers that they present us aren't even accurate. And they think that Luffy and Momo are dead. Like, these people... Was the information we're supposed to glean that CP0, these super badass mega boss fight characters, are just incompetent? Because everything they say in this chapter is just wrong. They just have the wrong information. Why do I need to see that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a bad mood, and maybe I'm overly critical of the chapter, but with less than 300 chapters left, I really don't want to see chapters where I get nothing new out of it. I think that One Piece is so incredibly good and consistent that when I give it a score out of 10, the average score is an 8. Like, an average One Piece chapter is an 8 out of 10, which is very good. The average One Piece chapter is as good as another manga's, great chapter. Like, that's how high of regard I think of One Piece being. So when it comes to a chapter like this, my rating is down to a 6 out of 10. Which, for any other manga, would be the average rating. So I guess that is singing it praises with some faint damnation that a 6 out of 10 is considered a bad One Piece chapter. Because honestly, most chapters are 8 out of 10 or higher. It's very, very rare that I consider a chapter to be, lower than an 8. So a 6 out of 10 in terms of my One Piece standard is pretty low. It's pretty low. And again, after last week's chapter being so incredibly good, this one was a huge disappointment. And the biggest slap in the face is that there's a break next week. You couldn't at least give us a morsel of something interesting to, wet our beaks for the next 2 weeks as we wait for the next chapter? Like, what did you guys read in this chapter that you're, like, dying to read the next one? It's okay that we have a break next week because we had such an amazing thing happen in this chapter that we can all, come together as a One Piece community and come up with theories about. There's fucking nothing. There's really nothing new here. Again, I might just be a Debbie Downer for no reason. I would love to hear you guys defend the chapter below. And I think since there's a break next week, I might do a video reading some of your comments from all of my reviews and responding to them. So this would be a great opportunity for everybody to tell me why I'm wrong, and if I have to eat crow, I'll eat crow. Again, I might just be in a bad mood this week. I don't feel like I am, but if the chapter is better than I'm, claiming it to be, please let me know in the comments. But a clear sign to me that a chapter did not have much going for it is when I can read the whole thing twice and not have any new predictions to come up with. A good chapter will give us so much information that new predictions will just pop into my head without even trying. But with this one, I feel like there's nothing to base a new prediction off of. I'm just sticking to all the stuff I've been with for chapters now because, again, there doesn't feel like there was much new. Anyway, sorry for a Debbie Downer episode. Let's all hope for a 10 out of 10 in 2 weeks, and I'll see you on the bonus video next week if I actually get around to making it. Bye.